How was lunch, everyone? That's cool. So let's try a little experiment, right? If you liked lunch and would eat that again and be happy about it, do a thumbs up. If you thought lunch was okay and you wouldn't complain, do a thumb sideways. And if you really didn't like that because you have the most ridiculous dietary preference in the world or you just thought it sucked, how about a thumbs down? So on the count of 3, let's try that out. 1, 2, 3. All right, thank you for your feedback. We'll take that into consideration next year. Yeah, it's funny. One of the things we talked about the most the first year we were here, and I'm sure the event organizers probably had stories about it, because I was really concerned about the food coming into this venue, because I hadn't worked with it before, and they have rock shows and stuff like that here. And I wasn't sure the food would be okay, and it worked out quite well. We're going to have some snacks later, so we don't like you to go hungry at Devopsdays, Ohio. Something to keep in mind, too, thanks to Kyle over here, we have chargers, so charging stations. There's one over there along the wall, one right around there, and then one up there. So if you, like me, often run out of juice in your cell phone or portable electronic device, you can get it re-energized at those locations. Who here knows what a lightning talk or ignite is? It's one of the most difficult in my opinion, most difficult presentations to give, because it's only 5 minutes and the slides are auto-advancing. So at 15 seconds, every slide auto-advances. So we're going to have 3 presenters, and Jerry Cattell is going to be kicking us off. Jerry is a director of technology at a company up in Chicago. He's also a Devopsdays Chicago organizer. And Jerry came and hung out with us our first year, and I'm really happy to have Jerry back. And he's going to be presenting. Please welcome Jerry.
Hey. Hey, so I'm here to encourage you to start hiring more remote workers, but to do it responsibly. I worked remotely for about 6 years. I started because I went to a different city, started working, and found out that city was not for me, decided to come back to Chicago, but they asked if I would start working remotely. But I was the first remote employee, so I went through lots of growing pains. But I think overall it really helped the company to have that experience, and we actually ended up getting to about 10% of the company. Now that company actually got acquired and then sold off to another person, and in those 2 adventures, I got to experience much larger companies and different feelings on remoteness. And then I decided, okay, I want something a bit smaller, and went fully distributed. And so that was yet a different experience. Now, my new job is actually I'm back in an office, and that's a new experience again, after 6 years. But I am the only person who actually has a remote engineer reporting to me. So, first, the employee benefits of working remotely. People tend to think about like, hey, I'm on a beach working on a laptop. That's not really quite how it works. I've never done that. It's much more subtle than that. It's much more, hey, I can go work at a coffee shop. I don't have to worry about a commute. I can hang out with my family a bit more. Or if I do want to work from another country, that's fine too. On the employer side, it's a bit more substantial. You actually get access to talent that you would never get access to otherwise. There are studies that have shown that remote employees are more productive because they don't have like all the just annoyances that come in the office of like bothering you. And then you tend to the retention rate is higher because they are generally happier. You can reduce your office costs if you have enough remote employees because you don't need the space. And we actually found every place that it's been fewer sick days, and I'll get to that a little bit later. But and then if you expand far enough, you can also cover like disaster recovery, 24-hour support across the world, and having those diverse populations on your team can actually help you debug things a little bit better. So let's do it. We found a great employee, let's hire her. And chances are if you do that, it's going to fail. If you just hire her, throw her off wherever she is, and start sending her work, if you do nothing else, there are a lot of obstacles in the way. First and foremost is collaboration. That's hard if you're off over here and you don't know that person, and you don't know their personality, they don't know you. And then there's also, you have a manager who doesn't know you. They don't know if they should trust that you're doing work. And strangely, they don't trust you're doing enough work, and we often see people who work from home actually end up overworking and can kind of lead to burnout a little bit because they're trying to make up for that. So what do you do about that? First, you kind of have to get all the necessary equipment. No robot required. So the employee clear is to get an ergonomic setup, all those things. The office, I cannot mention this enough, good intercoms in all your conference rooms, Ethernet in all your conference rooms, and just good areas to pair remotely. And then you need to get like a good VPN setup. Not everyone has one for whatever reason. Chat, so you can have that all the time, because that's going to be your primary way of talking. Video conferencing, always have a link to the video conference, and then some way of screen sharing. So then the question is, who is a remote worker? I would say that it's actually anyone that can work away from the office for an extended period of time. So I would actually say that even if you're just telecommuting 3 days a week, 4 days a week, for an extended period of time, you're basically a remote worker. So I'd actually say, start with a local team. Like, have them work fully remote. Work out the kinks, and sort of have them solve the basic problems. If you have an employee that needs to move, them too. When you go to hire your first remote person, make sure you do it well, because that's going to set the tone for all future ones. Make sure they're good at written communication, they can code test, pair remotely with them, all those things in advance. Because really, that is going to matter. And culture, people worry about how do you keep your culture, and I just have to say, keep them involved in the culture. Have them come visit the office often. Make sure you have an annual retreat. If there's a book club, like it was mentioned earlier, have them join into that. So, like I said, get the necessary equipment. Start with people you know first, because that sort of eliminates the personality part of it. Choose the first one, the remote long-distance one, carefully, and make sure they're included in your company culture so that carries on through it. I proposed an open space for remote work back there if you want to ask me questions or just talk about things. And my company, Tempest, is hiring, though currently only in Chicago, though I'm working on changing that. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Jerry. Being able to do remote work is super important. I always question an organization if they're not very effective at it. There's probably too many manual or paper processes, so it's an opportunity to learn and improve. Now I'd like to introduce Neil Primer. Cool thing is, Neil recently moved back to Ohio, Northern Ohio, from San Francisco. So he's working remotely with a company called Pix Systems as a senior software developer. I don't think that's his exact title, but he's a senior engineer over there. So please join me in welcoming Neil.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. I'm actually here to talk to you guys today about one of the cornerstones of modern business culture, which is the meeting. In actuality, I'm here to talk about the improvements in productivity and team trust and our own team culture that we've actually been able to come up with one specific meeting that we've had every week. The trouble started with us realizing we were very underproductive and overworked for the amount of work we are doing. We spent way too much time in Slack, and we didn't feel empowered ourselves to make decisions. So we came up with the idea of once a week we have a meeting where we can discuss anything that's on anyone's mind in the team. We actually spent 6 hours a week average in Slack. So we set up a safe space meeting. We ensured that everyone was, able to have their own voice. We made it a priority to make sure that everyone there felt equal in terms of what they're able to bring up, what we actually are making decisions on. And in order to mitigate some of the issues with Slack, we kind of made a policy of, if it can wait till the next meeting, then put it in the document for the meeting. If you feel like you need to collaborate with someone on the decision, pick one person instead of the entire team. And if you don't feel otherwise, then just make the decision yourself. Over the last 7 months, we've covered 62 individual topics. As you can see on the board, we were able to come to immediate decisions on 23 of them. 28 of them we were able to resolve shortly after meeting to discuss them, and the rest were handled externally. In the time since then, we've gone from about 6 hours a week on average per engineer in Slack to 3.5 hours, and we've gone from about 5 hours per week of time spent in text editor, IDE, terminal to 9.5. One of the other advantages we've been able to develop out of this is we've had the confidence to advocate for our goals rather than just business priority goals. One of the biggest things that's actually come out of that is we've pretty much rebranded our organization from being an IT operations team to being more of an infrastructure operations team. We've started to provide the ability for other engineering teams to self-service build their own architecture, primarily using infrastructure as code, such as CloudFormation. We've been able to advocate for other goals as well, including a fully functional CI/CD pipeline that's built using a lot of containerization technology. We spent a lot of time pairing with engineers on other teams, helping to reduce our own silos as well as theirs. It's enabled us to be kind of leading the charge in the migration from our monolith into a microservices architecture. And we've been able to utilize all of that together to really focus on career growth for us as a team and as individuals. We've been able to use the extra time we've gained to make career development time for each of us. We've started working together as a team to discuss what everyone's career goals are so that we can support each other and build each other up in that way. We've stopped going to one conference altogether as a team because we've determined that's not really the best fit for us. And combined with the rebranding efforts, we actually feel more confident and able to contribute to engineering efforts across the board rather than just our narrow silo. We've also been working to combat burnout by temperature checking each other often. Part of that came up as a result of these meetings. Again, back to reducing silos. Even within the team, we're working to reduce silos by making sure that we're spending a lot more time pair programming and pair working, and working together to architect as a team rather than individuals. We have had some things that have gone less than well. Typically, we have a really large backlog of topics, so not everything gets covered or covered in a timely manner. And things that require change from outside the team don't always get addressed. In addition, we do still have places where our individual biases come into play. And it can be hard to get individuals to agree on something if they're both really on opposite sides of the spectrum. But that's it. Thank you, guys.
Thanks so much, Neil. Important subjects for sure. And these are all things that we could do well to consider in how we work with our colleagues and in our workspaces. Now I'm pleased to introduce Tiffany Longworth. Tiffany has joined us all the way from Portland, and she's a site reliability engineer at Puppet. An interesting thing, I like to travel, and when I travel for business, I usually try and check out different companies and places around town, and wherever there's cool things going on in the city. The last time I was in Portland, I toured Puppet's offices, and there's some of the coolest offices I've ever seen. So Tiffany's going to be talking about change management for humans. Please welcome Tiffany.
Hi, I'm Tiffany Longworth. I'm a site I need to update the slide. I work at Puppet, and I've been rolling out changes there pretty much nonstop since I started 5 years ago. Some of them have been great successes that I'm proud of, and others have been catastrophic failures. But that's working in tech. Like, change is constant. You roll one thing out. If you're lucky, you get to iterate a couple times, and then you got to rip it out and start over because the business has pivoted onto something new. Sometimes it's fine, but when it's bad, it is the worst. The people who are instigating the change hate the people resisting the change, and vice versa. You end up with a lot of subverted processes and shadow IT, which means that the problem never actually gets fixed, and you're going to have to go back and do it again, and everyone's just emotionally exhausted, and no one wants that. So the nerds that study change management have identified 5 prerequisites for a successful change. First and foremost, people need to know there's a problem and care about fixing it. They need to know how to fix it, be able to fix it, and we need to remind ourselves because we're all human. My favorite thing to do is the stakeholder interview before really getting going. Any problem you're solving is going to involve any problem that's going to potentially be unadopted is going to involve other people. Who are the people on the edges of your problem space? Talk to them and find out what they think are the problems in the area and what they think are the rooms for improvement. Work together, because you can't do this alone. Also, allow your change to be fallible. If you can't make it better, faster, stronger for them, they're not going to want to pick it up and do it. So make those promises and don't tilt at a windmill that you're not going to be able to do. Once you have interviewed all your stakeholders and it's time to roll out to the rest of the company, come back to them after you've found out what they want and let them know what are the things you will be able to do and that you won't be able to do, and just be honest about why you can't do the things. That'll build evangelists instead of enemies. When you're rolling out your change, start with the tigers. What are the terrifying things that are going to happen if we do not do this? You're really going for emotional impact here. I know we're a bunch of computer nerds, so like emotions are weird, but people who are sleeping won't hear how to avoid the jaws of death. Similarly, what are the nice things that'll happen if they go along with this change? And I'm very sad that people don't actually care about data quality. What they really care about is having a better day at work because the customer wasn't yelling at them, because you were able to deliver on time, because you didn't have to go back and do a bunch of rework. Make it personal. Once you have pointed out the tigers in laying in wait and pointed people to their puppy and kitten-laden future, then and only then do you move on to the knowledge, the how-to, the details. Never, ever start here. You want to point out a success case, preferably someone they know, so they can go, I want to be like Mike, and lay out what makes this person successful. You want to be as detailed as possible when it comes to the knowledge section, so people can see themselves going step by step through each thing. The more they can envision themselves doing the change, the more it'll stick in their head, and the more successful your change is going to be. That being said, the easiest things to remember are the simplest. Again, we really like complex, cool, fiddly things. That's why we came here. But even the nerdiest of us get tired, and we don't want a run book. We want something that's intuitive, especially if it's not our little Rube Goldberg machine. So if you have some friends in UX, it's really fun to sit with them and talk about like human systems and stuff. I recommend it. And now that they know how to do it and they're able to do it, how do you keep this alive once you've rolled it out? You want to show metrics. Metrics aren't just about like making the business people happy. It's about reminding everybody else, like, look, we had a problem and it's getting better and you're part of it. Keep going, right, up to the right, that way. It's also a commitment, so you want to iterate. Go ahead and just schedule time. Bring back those stakeholders you talked to originally and ask them, like, what can be better? Help them groom your backlog. Don't forget the newbies. If they can't find out how to do this thing, it's going to die a slow death. And bonus points, the more new person friendly that your documentation is, you're going to get like lots of fresh, enthusiastic people who are saying, yeah, that thing, I read about it, I know how to do it, and they will help be evangelists for you. This has been Change Management for Humans. I'm still Tiffany. Thank you, Ohio.
Thanks so much. Thanks so much, Tiffany. I really like that, picture attribution. In the presentations I build, I'll often have that in my notes. A lot of folks don't always do that, and it's good to recognize people who create things, even if it's an open license. Really cool. One of the things we like to do for all our speakers is give them a gift, right? They're donating their time to be here and help us grow and learn as people in our professions. And what we did this year with our speakers is gave them a choice. We gave them a choice of having a gift that was monetary, a gift that was tangible, or an opportunity to donate it. And of our 15 speakers, 9 of those speakers chose to donate their honorarium. So big hand for all our speakers and their time. We were, as a team, really impressed by that. So what we decided to do was help match that. And I'd first like to welcome Mel McGee and Renee Weldy to the stage. So Mel is the CEO and founder of We Can Code It, which is an organization who's helping people in the Columbus and Cleveland areas. I'm not telling you what it is because that's Mel's job. She's going to tell you a little more about her organization pretty soon. So $900 was donated by our speakers to Mel's organization, and Renee hand-selected the charity that we would partner with this year. So in addition to the $900, we decided to match and take that up to $2,000 because $2,000 counts as a scholarship for people who participate in Mel's organization. So Mel, could you tell us a bit more about We Can Code It?
Yeah. I'll take the live mic. Thank you. You can hold the check just for a little while. Give it back. You guys watch this for me. I'm Mel McGee. I'm CEO and founder of We Can Code It. And We Can Code It is changing the face of tech. So we have a pretty big mission in front of us, right? Let's look around. We all know this to be true. I've been a developer and in IT for over 20 years now, and I love it. And I know you guys love this. And all we want is for more people to feel invited to the party. At We Can Code It, we train folks who aren't traditionally invited to the table of IT. And we train them in software development and agile skills and help them find phenomenal new careers in tech. So, by this very, very generous donation, We Can Code It is going to be able to contribute to our scholarships and grants we provide to students. We have partnered with Yes We Code to help our diverse candidates come on into We Can Code It on the house. So Yes We Code, we've pledged $1 million, not $5 million, $1 million over the next 5 years. Little We Can Code It has. So this goes a long way. This year alone, we've given out almost $300,000 in scholarships. So trust me, we very much appreciate the assistance. Thank you so much. I hope you check us out at wecancodeit.org. I hope employers in the room come speak with me, check out our site, and learn how you can also help this process of getting more people into the field. Thank you all. Give yourselves a round of applause. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Mel, Renee. We're happy to be able to do things like this, give back to the community and help the community and people improve in different ways. And our ability to do that is all thanks to you. So thank you for attending and being part of our event. Now we're going to go into the open space session of the day. I know many of you have already participated in open spaces, and we've been choosing possible topics for today. And now Andy, another member of our organizing team, is going to take over from here and get the open spaces started. Please welcome Andy.
Good afternoon. Let's see here. Give me 1 second here. Let's wait, see if it wakes up. Well, let's see here. We don't need this. So let's see, show of hands here. How many people know what open spaces is and what it's all about? Great, great. So we got quite a few people. So for those who don't know what this is an opportunity for everybody to come together and discuss topics that, one, you haven't seen brought up yet so far today, questions you have that the rest of the attendees may know or want to discuss further. So, let's see here. We're getting. What I'll do is we don't need to present. I think we should be good here. So let me just kind of start off. There are a few rules with open spaces. Whatever happens is the only thing that could happen, meaning we're going to bring up some topics. There are no wrong topics. There are no right topics. This is just your opportunity to explore and discover. Whoever shows up is, thank you very much. Whoever shows up is the right person, right people. There is no person that is, you need to have there in this discussion. This is for everybody so you can contribute or you can learn. The other rule we have is when it's over, meaning, hey, if this is a great discussion, you guys are exploring a lot of new topics or sharing a lot of information, keep going. If the conversation starts dying off, hey, it's time to move on and pick a new topic and learn something new. So the other thing that we have is a law of mobility. This is, hey, if you are neither learning or contributing, hey, it's time to move on. Just move on so everybody is getting the opportunity to get the most out of this. Exactly, yeah. Move on to another space. Join another conversation because this is your opportunity to learn or share. So, okay, we're going to break this down into a couple steps. I want to go a little fast here to give you guys the most time to use this. So what we're going to do is, as you know, we had the boards in the back where you could submit any ideas. And what I'd like to have is, we have a microphone over here at the side here. If you submitted a topic already, please line up so you can announce your topic and share it with everybody so we can start to share these ideas and see who's interested in joining your conversation. So if you wouldn't mind, go ahead and form a line behind the microphone if you have a Post-it note up here. And when we, yeah.
All right. Can you hear me fine?
Yeah,
All right.
is that...
Good. So I submitted the one that says automated tests. Basically, I want to know what disciplines you guys are going through to reduce the testing cost. If you use the old school, using the human resource, going through the scripts, and do your testing, it's going to take a lot of time, cost. But then if you switch that to, using tools, you're spending money on tools, and you're probably doing some additional development work too as you build those test cases. How do you find that balance? What's the discipline you guys go through to reduce that cost? I mean, in our situation, I work for DHL. A huge chunk of our software development lifecycle is testing. And I want to see what you guys go through to reduce that cost. Thank you.
Wonderful, great.
Hi there, my name is Brian Livingston. I wrote down configuration management. We specifically have a scenario where we're utilizing microservices within AWS. I think this probably involves some conversations around Puppet, Chef, things of that nature. how you get your database endpoints, usernames, passwords into those microservices.
Thank you.
My name is Jay Ryan. I put a topic on the board about private cloud challenges, specifically, what your organization is doing with regards to the private cloud, feature parity with public cloud, OpenStack, Kubernetes, that sort of stuff, serverless stuff. So if you're interested in private cloud, come talk.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Juan. I put a topic up around getting a feel for how everybody picks their DevOps tools, from paring down or cutting away the ones that you don't want, and then POCing that one tool that you think might be for whatever solution, and then getting it to prod, and all the people and processes in between.
Great, great.
Hi, my name is Uma Narne. Actually, I put in 3 topics there. The first one was IIB configuration automation, like what are people using for it, and how can we find a solution basically to automate things in IIB world, right? The second one was about the performance testing automation. What are people doing around it? Like what tools are they using, and what works for them, and what is their advice on it, right? And the last one I put in was, I believe it was for infrastructure health monitor. So we had an idea to build a script or something like to monitor our infrastructure health, like in terms of JVMs, heaps, and memory, and what kind of situation it is. So after every deployment, we wanted to run something that would take care of the environment to see how it is and give us some kind of report on it, right? If you're interested in any of these topics, feel free, we can talk about it. Thanks.
Great, thank you very much.
My name is Max Wilson. I submitted the topic. It was information flow control it's IFC and what was the rest of it? IFC and secure DevOps, yes. So I've read a few articles recently and seen a few other talks from other conferences about secure systems in Haskell. And that includes some secure web frameworks as well, such as Hails and Yesod with the LMonad framework. And I'm interested in seeing what additional security implications having a setup in Haskell would have, and how that would impact DevOps as a whole as well.
Great, great.
Hey, Jerry again. Like I said during the Ignite, I'd like to hear people's stories about remote working, whether it's you've done it, you've tried it, didn't work, what did work, what your favorite tools are, any of those types of things.
Thank you.
Hey, my name is Dave Miyamoto. I am in charge of running DevOps for a publicly available, public website that's highly available and needs lots of uptime, and I'm considering using somebody else's infrastructure, specifically Cloudflare or Fastly. I don't even know the class of software to describe it as, but if you've used it, if you're thinking about using it, if you think I should not use it, please come and talk to me.
All right.
Hi, my name's Matt Popovich. Topic I submitted was to talk about what people are doing to get executive buy-in to implement change, and how long is that taking. I'm seeing a lot of problems getting that adopted, and curious how you're getting executive buy-in to initiate the project.
Thank you.
My name is Pavan. I submitted a topic on DevOps adoption. I know everybody is excited about DevOps and how it will make things faster and better. Now, my thought was, what would be the first candidate app to pick and start going through the DevOps adoption process? If you guys have any ideas on or journeys that you have been through, I'd be happy to hear that and see what others have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. As we're approaching the last few people here, if there's anybody who has not had a chance to put a note on the board with their topic, please feel free, come on up, and we can go ahead and submit it now. Go ahead.
Good afternoon. I'm Matt Williams. Many of you have probably heard the term infrastructure as code. Well, there's the concept of test-driven development. If we're to treat our infrastructure as code, perhaps we should also test drive our development of our infrastructure.
Great.
Hi, my name is CJ Patel. I submitted about automatic deployment and release management. Often developer struggles or spend quite a bit of time for going through this build process and then also run into the issues after the releases. So what are out there like best practices people follow? I mean, some of them are already shared, or also any other tools or can be technology agnostics can be used better to manage those things.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm Emmanuel. I submitted a topic on terraforms. So if you're familiar with Terraform and you're pretty good, I would like to talk with you. Thank you.
Great.
My name's Steven. I love talking about DevOps in the enterprise and the specific enterprise challenges implementing what they call DevOps. So yeah, that'd be awesome. I didn't know about the board ahead of time. So. All right, thanks.
Thank you.
My name is Mike Butler. I wanted to continue the discussion about working from home and doing Agile and being Agile while working from home in a team where everybody else works from home and you're across all the continents.
All right, thank you.
Hi, my name is Piyush, and I've submitted a topic on Fabric 8. It's another continuous integration pipeline generation tool. So anybody who has worked on setting up Fabric 8 are welcome to join that discussion. It can be on cloud, on AWS, or anywhere else.
Great, thank you. Thank you very much. All right, so kind of break down what our next steps are here. So we're going to enter into the marketplace phase here, and what we'll do is we're actually going to take a vote on these topics and decide what will fit into our available spaces for the afternoon. And during part of this phase, we'll also allow you to take a break and stretch your legs before we jump into it. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I was going to go through that.
Cool.
We can return back to it. Let's go ahead and do the voting.
Okay. So we're going to do a quick vote on the different cards. I'm going to call them out. Most of these have been deduped. The basic idea here is we're going to figure out the size. We've got a total of 6 locations for the open spaces, 3 sessions. Okay. So somebody put a card up here. We'll see if everyone's awake. More cowbell votes. All right. I'm hearing some laughs. That's good. All right. Obviously, we're not going to do that. Performance testing automation. Raise your hand if you want to talk more about performance testing automation. Okay, good. Upstairs? Nobody? Okay. All right, Fabricate. Anybody? What is Fabricate? It might dedupe into something. Okay, it's like a CI/CD? Okay, CI/CD? Okay. Automation of automation. Who put that up there? Votes? Okay, that's all right. All right. Change management. Got a lot of votes on this one already. Please raise your hands. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 17, 18. Okay, thank you. Automated tests and TDD. Lots of people. 2, 4. Okay. Let's see. We'll call this one DevOps tooling, path to adopting new DevOps tools, Terraform in production. It's kind of a similar idea. Raise your hands. 6, 8. 10, okay. Oops. Infrastructure, healthcare automation. Infrastructure, healthcare automation. Health check? Oh, I'm sorry. Health check. Yeah, I can read, I promise. I graduated the 3rd grade. Sorry, guys. Health check automation. I work at a healthcare IT company, so that's my other excuse. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Okay, thank you. Databases and DevOps. 1, 3, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 16, 17. Thank you. Tools and toolchain is already deduped. Wearable clothing technology and lifestyle automation. Yeah, that sounds like a fun one. Anybody? Okay, one. I'm sorry. Who's whistling? Okay, 3. Ethan doesn't count. Womp womp. On-prem to cloud migration, if I read that right. Great, thank you. Remote workers. Remote workers. Great, thank you. Management without tech silos. Management of operations teams and stuff. 3, 5, 6, 7. Okay, thank you. One sec. Where did I put that card? IoT. I'm going to dedupe that one. That's basically down to wearable tech. Anybody want to cast extra votes for IoT separate from the wearable tech? No. Where? 1. Okay. Team-designed workspaces. How do you structure your teams and your floor space for people? 1. Okay. External PaaS infrastructure, Cloudflare, Fastly, and similar. Wow, only 2 on that. Server patch management is a pain in the butt every time. 2, 4. Yeah, raise them high, guys. Come on. Patch management's oh so much fun. All right, 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12. Container what? The containers solve everything. Private cloud, non-VMware challenges. Private hosting stuff. Okay. DevOps in the enterprise. Ooh, what a surprise. This one's popular. 14. Okay. Where did I put that? No. Breaking the CVE cycle. I assume the events database thing, CVE. Anybody? No? Developing software more securely. How do we get a handle on unplanned work? 4, 5, 6. Yeah. 8, 10, 12. Okay. IFC and Secure DevOps. Not sure I know what that one is. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11, 12. Okay. Managing third-party apps and open source software versions and dependencies. Oh, dependency hell. 2, 4. Yeah, with an acronym like dependency hell, it's got to be fun, right? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Anybody? Okay, 9. DevOps adoption, candidate apps for DevOps adoption. Greenfield, but anybody? Okay. Config management and IAB config automation. I lumped those together. So config management stuff. 3, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Okay. Where'd I put that? Okay. Doing Agile at home, remote work. Did I already dedupe that? I did that, sorry. Forgot to dedupe. Machine learning and data pipelines. 1, 2, 3, okay. Biz ops. Anybody? Okay. Auto build and release. This kind of sounds like CI/CD. Application performance management. 2, 3, 4. Okay. Exec buy-in. How do you get management and executive buy-in? Okay. Support and reduce tickets. Cool. All right. We're good, guys. Thanks. Take a break. We'll reconvene in a little bit. Got about 10 minutes. Oh, sorry. Hold on, guys. Hold on. Premature.
So I just wanted to touch on a couple last little points here with what, open spaces are like. We have a couple roles that we like to define. There's the person who actually suggested the topic. It is advised that you're the one who actually goes to the open space first and is there to start the topic, start the discussion based on why you brought the topic up in the first place. Bring up your questions that you want to discuss. The next role is the bumblebee. The bumblebee is, it's somebody who, if you want to move around, feel free to. This is where we can, the reason they're called the bumblebee is because you're cross-pollinating ideas amongst the different discussions. The other one is the butterfly. Go ahead, if you need to step out of a conversation for a while and just network out in the hallways, now's your time. This is your time. As we say, use your time wisely. Get the most out of this. This is your opportunity to learn and share. So we have a couple locations where we will be meeting. So if you look around the rooms, there are some old computers on the walls. Let's see here. Was it stage left? We have an Apple II. We have an Amiga over on stage right. Up on the balcony, we have on the left, I think that is the Atari on that wall. Is that correct? Is that the Atari over there? Thank you. Then we have a Commodore 64 over there. And then in that front room, there are two. There's a Tandy 1000 and a TRS 80. So that's the name of the open spaces where you will be meeting. Like we said, give us a few minutes here to organize where the topics will be, and we'll go from there. So take a 10-minute break and stretch your legs and get a drink or hit the washroom, and we'll see you soon. How do we turn it off? How do we turn this one off?